shoot my Ashi here, but he's so far forward on this that it makes more sense and it's an easier play to switch to what we call reverse X. I'm just bringing my foot in front of his far knee, right? So I go from here to here. That's all I need. I'm just cupping his knee here, and now I lift, right? I just slide this leg through, and I trap, and now I can sit up, right? So this is that perfect time to hit that reverse X when he has all his weight in his hands, right? If I shoot, like shin, you know, if I get here and he's balanced like this is not a good time to go reverse X. Because now, like, I can't do anything to lift him because all his weight's still in his legs. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it's pushing my feet down, stepping out, all of those things, right? Because I've got to get your weight in your hands to be able to do anything with this. So if I end up in this Ashi and he's standing and he goes to peel the foot, right? My foot goes to the mat, I block the front of his shin and I kick him. Now I come in. Right? So this becomes the back and forth from here, is I'm looking to always off balance him. Because now he's off balance, I can go right in. Right? But if he manages to get his balance back, when he's already pushing that foot off, my foot goes to the mat and I'm kicking him forward and I have to block this so he doesn't step. So his only choice is to plant with his hands. And then I'm back in. Right? So if I get him at any point to this Ashi, he's off balance, he stands back up. Before he can peel the foot is when we hit that sweep. Right? And now I'm up, catching and finishing, and getting the heel hook there. Right? So it's just a matter of all the timing here. I get here, he comes up, perfect time to sweep, come up with him, finish the heel hook. Right? So you get here, I off bounce him, he stands up, no, it's good. He stands up and kick him back forward again. We can come in, right? This becomes the play, right? I'm having to deal with what he's doing. It's as you off balance, some people get there and they want to reverse. Some people get there and they try to weasel their legs out. Everyone's gonna react a little bit differently. So it's just being ready for all of those situations. Most of the time they're gonna try to stand back up, get their balance back. Right? So if I know that, when I dump him, I either have to be transitioning right away to catch it, or I wait for him to stand up and I either kick him back forward or I sweep him to the outside. Right? So you're kind of playing back and forth with this, and this comes in everywhere. Just like if he reaches down for double ankles, he pulls me in, right? And I shoot this, we're back into the same situation, right? You can push the head. I toss him, right? He starts coming back up. I'm back to my Ashi, back up, back in, right? So, so it's one of those things where I'm trying to set up what I want, but if he starts, getting his posture back, I have to switch back. So anytime he starts getting his posture back, I'm going back to Ashi, right? As I go back to Ashi, I have the choice to either sweep to the outside or take that outside foot, put it on the mat and kick him forward. And then I can go back into my, reverse X. Does that make sense? Right? So let's, partner up, we'll play around, and kind of deal with that, deal with all the different entries. Don't forget, like if he pushes the shoulder, it's elbow wrist. Right? So when I get this connection, right, he's already starting to pull away. And remember, if he pulls away, I don't try to tug of war him. As he pulls away, I let him. And I slide back in. Right? If he pushes, then I can, get the momentum, I pull him across. Right? And we're right back in on all of this again. Does that make sense? Right? So, and anytime he reaches down for a leg, whether it's one hand or two hands, I'm looking for elbows. right? This is what stops this, right? So if he's grabbing legs, I'm grabbing elbows. He pushes the head, I'm grabbing wrist. He pushes the shoulder, it's elbow, wrist, right? I'm looking for those connections, and that's gonna give me my off balancing. Make sense? Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. You can do all kinds of counters. They can easily roll to your back, they can pass your guard, they can do a lot of different stuff. You have to maintain controls, and that's where our hands come in. Our hands are controlling while our legs are moving, right? So anytime in jiu-jitsu when my legs move, if I'm trying to control my partner, my hands need to control while my legs move. If my legs are controlling, my hands can move, right? They can't both be moving at the same time. That means you have no control, right? So if I'm doing any of this, I can be going shin to shin, right? And I just go to Ashi. Right? I kick him forward, get his weight here. Look where I'm at. I'm already controlling this leg, and I'm controlling his knee. Right? I come into here, so I'm controlling all of this. So I can lift him and slide this in and get this, set up. If we go back, if I'm here and I'm doing all this and my hands aren't controlling anything, and I start to come in here, like I don't have control of him. He can start to push my knee through, he can hop right over, and now he's taking my back. Right? You have to control them, right? And I do that with my arms. So anytime I go to this situation, and I'm here and I kick him, right? I'm controlling his leg, right? There's no opportunity now for him to cut his angle, right? I want to use my arms to control and grab and pull him in, and keep everything tight. That's what the arms are for, so keep playing with this. Just try to tighten it all up, right? Don't give them that opportunity to slip out and start moving around. Make sense? Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. I try to shoot my leg under, like it'll work when you're drilling with someone who's letting you do it. But when it's live, they're not going to just let you shoot your leg through and trap their leg. They're gonna start countering and passing because their legs are on the mat. So when you lift them, you got to make sure that you don't shoot your other leg deep, right? Their whole goal is if they can beat your knee, they can bolo you. They can hit that Baron bolo and go right to your back. So I want my knee as far forward as possible to make that really hard for them to do, right? So that's the whole play here is I'm trying to make sure that the leg that kicks them to make them post, that foot is all the way up against their butt, right in the center of the crack is where I want that foot. My other foot goes right above the knee, I lift it, and then I just remove that knee, and if I did it right, their hip will drop right into place. If they keep their hip up, using their core, then I just reach up and pull their leg in. Like, that's all you gotta do. And you still end up in the same situation. Now, occasionally, when I lift them, they will try to back step out. Then you just back roll to the top and you're still into the floor level. It works the opposite way too. I just back roll over my shoulder and I still end up in the same place. So don't freak out if they start trying to back step out of your reverse eccentric as you start to get them elevated. I'm just gonna follow them. I just stay connected and it rolls me over my shoulder and then I'm on top and then I'm back stepping into 411. Same situation, right? So now we have, when we're playing this game from this seated butterfly, right? If I'm able to get their hands to the mat when I go to shoot, I'm gonna go reverse X because it's an easier play. You could go Ashi, but if you go Ashi there, you're gonna have to go Ashi reap, and I'll show that, and that is an option here. But when that reverse X is right there, when you really off balance them, you might as well play the reverse X to the 411. Right? But if you don't feel comfortable with it, or you feel like your finishes from the reap are better, it's fine to go right to the reap as well. Or if you just for whatever reason, reap them, and then you're like, oh crap, that's not what I was supposed to do. Like, it's okay. Like, we can still finish, right? So Matt's. So if he like pushes my head, right, and I get him off balance here. If I shoot the Ashi here, I'm gonna end up in a reap, meaning I'm gonna drive this heel towards the mat this way. When this happens, if he stays here, he'll get finished right here. I'll just finish this heel hook, right? And we're doing it the same way as when we come up for the heel hook. I'm pinching the pad of his foot, grabbing his heel, wrapping this up. Right? So we're just like this, right? I'm gonna start to twist this. The way he gets, alleviates this is by rolling. I just roll through and land on my side, and now it's over. Right? He just delayed it by a couple seconds, but it's still done. Right? I just stay connected. I roll over my forehead. Do not let go. Right? And don't roll over your chest, because then you lose the knee line. You got to roll over your forehead, all right? So we're here, whatever the situation is. I got him here. I hit this reap on land. I grab the heel, I pinch the pad, and I'm just connecting, right? I don't even have to really grab. I'm just like, wrist to wrist here, right? I start to make the twist to make him roll, and I stay balled up, and I roll over my forehead, and I land right on my side, and I'm here, right? I'm already in position. All I got to do is hip in. Right, this is the tightest, position for this heel hook because it's horrible. And then look at where his knee is. Like it's all bent in the exact position I need it to be to break the leg. All the slack is already taken out. Like I can just push his knee with my hand and make him tap. Right. So, need to see it again. Okay. Push. Right. Sure. So we get here. I shoot. Drive this down. Catch. We roll over the head, and I land, and I finish. Right? When you roll, the reason we roll over the forehead is to stay balled up. If you stay balled up, when you land, it's tight. You have that ankle twisted, the knee is bent, and it's ready to be broken, right? If you extend out, you're going to straighten his leg for him. You're going to take the pressure off, and now he can start to twist and escape his heel. So make sure you stay balled up. Once I hit that reap and I connect here, as I go to roll, I'm tucking. I roll over, I land, and I hip in, and it's done. Right? Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. So don't blow people's knees out in here. Right? So, if you catch it, you roll through, you land, like don't be in a hurry to hip in, right? Like catch it, look at them, like I got it. You want to tap now? I don't need to do this. Right? And then hip slowly in. Like it's one of those things, like I catch people in heel hooks and I will hold them and they don't realize it's bad and they'll start wiggling and I'll just let them go. It's not worth blowing their knee out, to deal with the situation. And I'll go, look, man, like you were dead to rights. So it's one of those things where we all want to get wins, but the wins in here don't matter, right? So it's better that you protect your teammates and everything, so that they can come back and roll the next day. As you pop a knee in here, you're out for a month or so, right? So it's knees getting popped happens. Whether it's competition or whatever, but we want to try to minimize that in here. And on the reverse side, if someone has your heel and they're rolling through and it's tight, just tap. Like, don't wait for them to hip into it if you know it's already tight, right? Same with an arm bar. They get it fully extended. Why wait for them to hip in? They've already won, right? They isolated your limb, they extended it, they've got control of it. It's over. Like, just tap, right? Like I've rolled, with enough, high-level guys, especially MMA fighters, that once they separate, they're finishing. If you don't tap once your grip breaks, like your arm's popping. So it's one of those things where as soon as I know I've lost the battle, I tap before it ever even fully gets extended. So
if as you get better and you're in these positions more, you'll understand like as it's going, if you have that last moment like hitchhiker there or not, but if you haven't been in that position 100, 500 times, you don't play with that. Like you get your elbow popped, like mine, I haven't been able to roll for 2 weeks and mine was a fluke injury, so, you try to protect yourself and protect your teammates as much as you can so we can all, stay in here and stay training and push each other. What happens in competition, like weird things happen, but, in here, try to protect each other as much as you can, so if you catch something and someone's stepping out of it the wrong way and things like that, especially we've got a lot of new people coming in right now. So if you're putting them in positions and looking for submissions and they're doing the wrong thing and it's going to get them hurt, just let go, right? So, but that's especially when we're playing this heel hook stuff. Like, as you can feel, like it doesn't feel bad, it doesn't feel bad, it doesn't feel bad, it's horrible, right? Like, that's how heel hooks work. So it's a little different than some of these other submissions, like a shoulder lock or something where you're like, oh yeah, it's starting to get bad, I'll go ahead and tap. Right? With a heel hook, it's like it's okay until it's not okay. So get used to understanding like when it's checkmate. They have control, everything's tight, they're in the position. Like I don't need to wait for you to hip in to tap. Right? If you want to feel that in play, you can tap and then say, hey, don't let go. Just slowly push into it. I just want to feel where that point is, and you can take a slow rep. But don't do it while you're going live and like, oh, I'm going to wait and see, because you don't know how hard they're going to hip into your leg. And they might get excited, and now your leg explodes, right? So, so don't chance it. Keep yourself safe, keep your partner safe, even, when they're doing dumb things, so, if we all do that, then we'll be able to keep everyone in here as healthy as we can and training as much as we can, right? You'll hear in jiu-jitsu a lot that, that everyone's dealing with injuries and everyone's training and competing with injuries and things like that, and that's kind of the mindset in jiu-jitsu. I don't like that mindset. You don't have to adhere to that mindset. If you're hurt, take your time, rehab properly, come back when you're ready. Like, there's no point in coming in here and continuously re-injuring yourself and then turning it into a chronic injury, that then you can't recover from. And now it's a problem forever. Even at the highest levels, I was talking to Sean Applegate about this. Like, if his guys are hurt, they don't compete. Like, he doesn't care. Like, it's one of those things. He's like, don't go out there. Don't go do it. Like, just recover. I know there's this big tournament, there's that big tournament. But if you're injured, you can't put your best self out there. And you don't want to go out there and compete and do those things if the best version of you can't be out there, right? So take care of your body and everything so that you can train for a long time and not just try to get really good really fast and mess your body up, right? So any questions over any of this stuff we've been playing with this week, getting into these positions, playing from this seated guard position against a standing opponent? No? Cool. So as you can see, like, and the reason we're diving into all of these legs is because when they try to pass you standing, their legs are right there, right? It doesn't make any sense for me to bypass attacking something that they're just bringing right to me, right? A lot of jiu-jitsu is trying to separate the limbs from the body and isolate them. When they're trying to pass you standing, they've already separated and isolated. Like, I just have to wrap my body around it, right? So it's one of those things where if we're playing a seated guard and they're standing and passing, we're looking for those leg entries. We're going to hit those leg entries. We're going to get those fast kills. We're going to get those things. Now they have a choice to make. Are they going to then switch and start trying to pass you from their knees? When they pass from the knees, we're going to play a little different game. We still have ways back into the legs, but we also have all of our other stuff, our lockdown, our rubber guard. All of these things start coming into play once we get them to their knees, and now they want to start passing from there, right? But if they're standing, like I'm sitting, Like, I'm not trying to get to rubber guard. Like, I'm just gonna attack your legs. They're right there. You know, it doesn't make any sense for me to go through all these steps to break you down and get you to your knees and do all this stuff just so I can get to rubber guard when I can just attack